Testing, testing. Is this thing on? Good. We're getting heckin' close. Let's just say the update is very, very soon. Yeah, that's intentional, Zach. It's a joke. It's a very, very good joke, actually. The LANCH party. But hey, it got you talking, and that's the point. It's actually a an office joke. So, who wants to hang out as we get ready for the update? By the way, is my audio and video coming through good? Are you hearing music too? Cool. Awesome. Wanted to make sure before I jumped from one computer to the other. Computer. Computer. Yeah. Oh, you know what? Music is muted, so no one could hear it. Oh man. Hey Gamrit, how you been? Make sure the multi-stream chat is refreshed. Just want to make sure it's working. And then I'm going to make sure the stream feed's working on the multi-stream. A stream to watch on Steam feed here. Bad. And then making sure TikTok is live. Not your lunchtime for another 2 hours. I'm sorry. Okay, we've got every feed live. I just wanted to make sure it was all good before I started being like, hey, Miss Rattata, how are you? Thank you for the like. And Jat, thank you for the like as well over on TikTok. Much appreciated. How are we doing on every feed? You know, Run Amok, I brought it to the attention to devs, and I'm not sure it's been fully addressed as of yet, but I think they wanted to get multi-level squared away before they started worrying about all the odd connections. You know what I mean? So we got a good audio and video on all platforms here: YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, Steam. We could get a confirmation on any platform, every platform in chat. That'd be fantastic. So I am live right now because we are getting extremely close to the launch of our next update. We said we'd be launching today, July 10th. The devs are pretty confident that the update should be live within the hour. That's kind of the thought at the moment. Thank you, Jad. I appreciate that. Can you finally use multi-level on maps? Yes. In fact, this map has three levels to it. Let's open up the multi-level maps, should we? It's almost like the creator did that on purpose, or humans have this ability to see human faces in everything. It's like, isn't it an actual term? It's a great example of multi-level and another face map. But as you can see, vaulted rooms, multi-level structures. It is like Christmas in July, isn't it, Miss Frittata? Drewman, thank you for the like. Much appreciated. Yeah, that's that pointy roof piece is a standalone object, and the creator of this map did a good job to utilize it. There's a bunch of standalone roof caps and domes that can be used in addition to the auto generation roofs. The update should be available soon. It'll be available on Steam as an automatic update. Stand by. Oh no. Trying to move into a chat. No, thank you. This software led to me running one of my favorite games that I played. Well, that's good to hear. I love to hear it. Hey, Matherall, good to see you. Good to see you. Alrighty. So at the moment, I am being told that we're getting very, very close to the update launching. Should be moments. I'm talking within the next hour. So definitely lock in your seatbelts and put your tray in the upright position so you're ready. Alrighty. So my favorite thing about the update, sorry, I'm hearing stuff from the devs, so I need to reply to them, is the fact that you can actually, like, you know, now have all these fully navigable spaces that are very easy to link together. Forgotten Death, you are definitely playing it fast and loose. Stand by. Okay, sorry, I have Wim messaging me right now, so I'm just making sure I answer his questions. You know, the big boss coming through, so gotta do my job. The update should be available hopefully within the hour. It'll be an automatic update, okay? So, I'm not sure what you mean, Sorchin. But I will say this, like the exterior roofing, there's a bunch of options. Let's show you what there is, okay? So depending on the roof style, it's either more domed, right, or pointed. And then if the roof is certain size, the point can't get to an apex because it's kind of big. So depending on the roof style, like some are more rounded, some are more pointed and apexed. That makes sense. The demo should be a showcase multi-level and roofing, but it'll only be a tavern, just like it is now. Rusiak, unfortunately, I can't give any like information on like when the next portion of this update will launch because we're only just launching the first portion today, so it's kind of hard to estimate that. What do you mean by more editable? Can you elaborate on that? Not sure. At the moment, I'm thinking they're going for simplicity, i.e. it automatically, you know, makes these apex points or adjustment points, vertices. They put a lot of time into that algorithm, being able to adjust it manually runs into all sorts of problems. As much as we would love to give you that level of control, remember Dungeon Alchemist is about ease of use, speedy, quick maps, and that works. So I don't know for sure. I would say, you know, at the moment, probably not. Though I do know they want to add to a degree, you know, better roof shaping and stuff like that. So it would, you know, have, instead of right now where it's not making an apex, it would probably start making better apexes over larger roofs, or, you know, little things like where it makes a nonsensical angle like this, for instance. Like this makes no sense. You wouldn't run the water facing back towards a window where the water could build up and run into the structure. So the roofing wouldn't do that technically. Like the window would probably be a bit higher, and then this roofing would actually meet up against the wall, like flat up. This is the wall itself, and then the roof would be against it. So it would run, you know, down the wall, down the roofing, off the wall. But I understand it's a fantasy world, so nonsensical, weird roofs like that are, you know, par for the course. You know, honestly, one thing to take into consideration that I think a lot of people like aren't even realizing, there's a program out there that's been around for, you know, what, 10, 15 years that has been trying to get roofing this simple and straightforward and hasn't done it. And I don't mean to like compare ourselves against other companies, but like when you think of map building and like house building, what's the first name you think of? Hey, Elbu. CAD, Doc. I often think of Sims because it's been such an iconic, part of our culture and video games for the last, 20, 30 years. Sims has been around forever and they still haven't gotten roofing right. And the thing is like we now have automatic roofing that's done via a very custom algorithm designed by our dev. And apparently from his explaining of it, like only a handful of people in the world truly understand this algorithm, and he's the first one to repurpose it for roof design. It's called Straight Skeleton is the algorithm, and apparently when he's got it all figured out, he's going to put up a Git repository of it and make it public. I'm like, man, you should license it to The Sims. Like, you'd probably make more money like just doing that. My wife is a big fan of The Sims. She plays it a lot, and she tells me like constantly how frustrating the roofs are and shows me, and stuff like this. It's just like awe-inspiring how quick and easy it is. You want to remove the roof? Remove the roof. So you have that traditional DA to be similar roofing, extended over every room. What do you mean, Elbu? You want a flat roof? Do a flat roof. What's up, Anani? I do think it's awesome too that we're now, still in early access, but it's like so full featured at this point. Did the stream just crash for everyone? Ah, now I understand. Of course. What, could you still hear me during that, or was it just crashed? Mix, this will launch sometime today. I'm the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. I'm in a dev build. This stream is kind of a launch party as we lead up to the launch of this update, which it should be any time now. I'm hoping before the end of the hour. It kind of looks like actually it's happening. Hold on. It's happening. Stand by. I have to do something. Give me one moment. Yep, it's happening, everyone. Hold on to your butts. We're going live. I just saw. Nomad, good question, actually. I went to bed around just after midnight, and then I woke up at like 5:30. It should be live for y'all. You should be able to download it now. So get to it. I can't wait to see all the maps you upload to the workshop, you crazy cartographers. I'm very excited for the future of Dungeon Alchemist. Y'all want to see the crazy thing I made yesterday? Since moments ago, Miss Terry, the update just went live, like 5 seconds ago. Oh no. They destroyed my boy. Nope, he's okay. My Eldritch Tower is still okay. Remember, everyone, once you make some multi-level maps, upload them to the workshop. And over the coming days, tutorials, tips, and tricks videos will be launching to kind of guide you through this. Hope you're excited for the future of Dungeon Alchemist. By the way, Dungeon Alchemist is on sale until 10 a.m. Pacific time, so another hour and 25 minutes. Very fortuitous that we were able to launch the update before the end of the sale. So if you're kind of watching now and you're like, man, this is an interesting program, I'm wondering what it is and what it's about, you can actually get it for 20% off for the next hour and a half. Our update launching today includes multi-level, roofing, the ability to put the grid on top of everything, universal object scaling, abstract lighting, tons and tons of new features, batch exporting, building underground. Sky's the limit with this new update, people. In fact, I actually want to run the update. I'm going to back out and run it. Yep, downloading it right now. Actually, switch back to the live build. Yeah, Chronicler, that's a thing people say. Congratulating people on an update, for sure. So, for those that are just tuning in, the multi-level update just went live. Fun with Objects Part 1. We've got the notes right here for the patch notes for the update. If you'd like, we can go over those as a group and kind of reveal them so anyone watching can kind of get an idea. By the way, thank you for the follows in the last 10 minutes. We got Friendon and Ogoro. Ogorod. Is that what it is? Thank you so much. Today's the day. The sun is shining. The tank is clean. Oh my gosh, the tank is clean. So I'm going to kind of put this here so you all can see the patch notes and kind of start reading through them if you want. Sorry, I'm just seeing something here and I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Weird. Are we going to do DLCs? That's a good question. So yeah, at some point after we leave early access, we'll go above and beyond what we promised from our Kickstarter, right? Which was primarily fantasy and a series of stretch goals, which there's only about 4.5 of them left at this point. So once we leave early access, then we'll probably go on to new, areas of expansion for DA, i.e. other aesthetics such as sci-fi, maybe cyberpunk, or things like that. Sometimes that's the case. You got to restart it a couple of times. Unfortunately, I don't have anything to share of part 2 right now, man. I mean, they just finished part 1, and then they're going to move on to part 2 hopefully soon. Probably take a break and then dive into it. So with the notes, yeah, honestly, the devs put a lot of serious time and effort into one. I think the least we could do is be excited and grateful for what they've put out and not already be asking what's next. I do think they do deserve some time, a little bit of time to rest, recuperate, regroup too, the 3 R's, and then dive into part 2. Like I said, I went to bed at around midnight doing stuff, prepping up for this, final touches on the trailer, copy for the announcement, things like that. And then I woke up at like 5:30 to do last minute testing and preparation. If you, I would recommend loading your maps up on the Steam Workshop. Sorry, I'm like so distracted. I'm getting message after message after message from the bosses, and I'm just trying to make sure we're all on the same page. I did put up the notes here so y'all could read through them if you haven't, if you're at work or away from your computer and won't be able to play right now. So the big thing is, I definitely would recommend doing before and afters. If you have maps up on the workshop already, the old version, then upload a new version, call it a 2.0. If you haven't uploaded a map to the workshop before, I'll show you how to do it in a moment. Nice, nice. There is only 10 left. There is only 10 left. That's right. There you go. Anyway, sorry about the distraction there. Let's get back into it. Let's skip away from the notes for a minute, right? If you want to upload a map to the workshop once you create a new map, or if you have an old map you want to upload, you open the map first, right? Make sure the map is pretty much done. because updating maps that are on the workshop is a tricky process, and it's often kind of done incorrectly, and then people have multiple versions of the same map. We'll get into that. But let's say you want to upload this map to the workshop, right? You go to the Steam Workshop tab. Here, let me turn on my mouse highlighter. And then you hit Publish Map. Name the map, give it a description, set it as public if you want to share it with everyone, friends if it's only your friends, private if you just want like a backup in the cloud, right? Or maybe you're just not ready to share it with everyone. Then you give it a detailed description. Remember, the name, the description, all of that is searchable terms in the Steam Workshop. So the more information you have there, the more likely your map is to be found. Then you can take a screenshot at different angles if you want, right? Something before. Something like. And then we'll do Steam Workshop, publish, test. But anyway, that's like an ideal screenshot, right? Then you can just hit publish and then it's good to go. That'll send it to the workshop and then other people can see it if it's public and then download it, rate it, etc. Comment on it. Your PC won't launch DA, go ahead and restart your computer. Obviously, it's a better version of a launch party. The next damn challenge is fun with objects. That's the theme. We're gonna, I mean, Saturday I'll announce it publicly and announce it in all of our Discord and stuff. But you could start working now and kind of get it ahead of the game. That's normal. You're going down. When you got -1, that means you're adding floor below, basement. We're launching our new update, Fun with Objects Part 1. It's big anticipated. Rava, to get the update, you just load up your Steam. It should update automatically. If it doesn't, restart your computer and then reload your Steam. So basically, this update is a long-anticipated multi-level upgrade with roofing, multi-level underground building, etc. But back to the underground building, you can do like cellars, and then if you want to go below that even, or if you wanted to say have a secret cave tunnel on the side, right? You can use the terrain tools and start carving in the terrain to the side over here and having an area where they can go through, right? So you could have tunnels off to the side, secret passages, underground cavities of all sorts. And by that, I mean, you know, basements, cellars, catacombs, sewers, you know, burial chambers, etc. Hey, thank you for all the love, Swamp. Remember, y'all don't have to send us gifts like that because we are already like, you know, a company and we get our funding from our Kickstarter, obviously, and selling Dungeon Alchemist. I do appreciate it, though, as it helps us get more notice algorithmically, and thank you for all the likes. That does help a lot. I'm just letting you know, Swamp, you could definitely save that for another stream if you want. I know, I get it. You're more than welcome to. I don't want to discourage you, my man. I just letting you know. Just getting a 20-page long update text. You mean the patch notes? Jeez. Heaven forbid y'all read a little bit and learn about what we put together for you. You can click on it and drag. And then if you see the continue button, you should be able to hit continue. If you're not seeing the continue button, That might be an issue with your resolution. What's your resolution on your screen? Do you see like this little bar just below the text? Interesting. Stand by. Let me 4K. Wondering, could you lower your monitor's resolution temporarily and load into the update just to see if it changes anything? Stand by. Exactly what it says, Sephiro. Old maps are not, this is the first update we've had that's not fully backwards compatible with old maps. So you can open old maps, you can edit them, but you can't add multi-level to an old map. And we've been very vocal and public about this for the last 6 months or so on our stream, social media, announcements, etc. I know it's kind of a bummer, but that's sometimes how early access works. So new maps, you create a new map, you can do multi-level with it. Old maps, if you want to do multi-level, it has to be done by hand, by adjusting the terrain, placing objects manually. Oh, that's a good thing to point out, Unspeakable Oaf. If you're doing any scaling for Windows, like if you're not at 100%, maybe you're at 150 to make everything bigger, it might be causing that problem too. Correct, Swamp. I'm reporting that patch note bug right now. No backlanching. And remember, if you want to go below this, you could put a floor even below that. I'll ask them right now. Major lag, you had to go to full screen to see the button. Okay. By the way, if you reload DA, if those notes are still there, will you guys let me know if that problem persists? I'm trying to pass on information to the devs right now. So say you wanted to build below this, right? You could build a whole other room, expand off of said room, right? So have like a little chamber to the side or a hallway. Secret dungeon. Secret dungeon. Setting res. Okay, cool. Yeah, at least just temporarily, that might be a quick fix. Man, I can't wait to see like the first map that has like a fully functional sewer system under a city. It's gonna be nuts, you know? So I'm gonna say this really quickly for everyone watching, okay? Exports for multi-level work entirely the same as what you're used to for regular, just single floor maps. Every level of the map exports as its own map. Floor 1, map 1. Floor 2, map 2, i.e. its own image or video with its an accompanied data file for your VTT of choice. So if you do Foundry, it'll come with, it's a 4-floor map like this one, 4 images and 4 JSON files. You set those up as individual scenes in Foundry, or if you're Fantasy Grounds, Roll20, whatever. If you want to link them together with automation, for instance, Foundry offers scene regions now as a static, like stock feature. Set a scene region on a staircase, a ladder, whatever. When your players meet that region, then it'll teleport them to the new scene, i.e. floor 2. I'm not sure how this will work with levels because we don't support integration with modules for any virtual tabletop because modules are just too iffy and wibbly wobbly. Some of them lose support. They're sometimes behind a paywall. We just don't really intend to, engineer support for modules, only things that are stock features in virtual tabletops. So set each floor as a scene. If you want to try and make it work in levels, my understanding is it's just layers. So you would set all those images as the individual layers and you're good to go. What is the resolution you were on that wasn't loading? The exact resolution. Eric, what do you mean? It's available now. We launched like 30 minutes ago, my friend. The update's available for you. Load Steam. You should be able to get it right away. The thing is if we, congrats on the latest update. Thank you, Silver. Much appreciated. Honestly, when you think about it, there's so many virtual tabletops on the market, right? And because of this, we want to offer as much compatibility with as many of them as possible, right? And the problem being is many of them offer like add-ons, modules, scripts, things that are like essentially mods. So I know a lot of people want us to work with those mods, but the problem is they're just so all over the place. As I said earlier, mods development, I've followed mods that are great and they continually get updated and supported. I've followed mods where the developer lost interest, even worst case scenario, passed away, or no one took up the torch, the mantle, and kept working on it. Additionally, I've seen mods when like a new version of Foundry or an update comes out, the person doesn't develop an update for it. It goes stagnant. So it's often it's frustrating to build support around a mod, and that's the reason we don't. So I understand why people want it, but at the same time, you need to understand we're a limited amount of manpower and resources, so we have to make it work with as much stuff as possible on like a wide net. So Swamp, if you honestly, if your computer can't handle very large maps being, displayed live, a VTT is the best bet for that on a TV tabletop, because you can export the map as an image or an animation, a rotated animation, or a looped animation is what I mean. And that will be much more streamlined than running it in real time through DA. Though I do understand why you want to run it in DA. The full 3D is nice. Being able to open and close doors and chests and animate things in real time, it's nice. I get it. And it's really not how Dungeon Alchemist was intended to be used, is for live play, We all know it's meant for maps and it's an immersion utility. So you can, take screenshots, video, or even stream a first-person view to your players. Yeah, virtual tabletops are so streamlined in that regard. I mean, you can do fog of war for individual players or a group fog of war. There's actually a module for Foundry that allows you to do, it's called like shared display. So all the players share vision because they're usually in a group together anyway, right? And so they're all on that one screen. So they have a shared fog of war, which is great. So you can move them all around and then it reveals the area to them as they move around. Man, Gamru, that's kind of heartbreaking, but also cool that they had a team in place. But you get it though, like it can happen, right? Fronclor, how are you trying to add rails? Because you can definitely add rails. There's several ways to do it, okay? One, you can go into the freestanding walls and grab any one of the rails that are in there. Those will add on to the edges just fine of square and circular pieces, or of square pieces at least. And then if you go into the wall tool and then you set it to place new walls, right? And then select your banister or whatever you want, then you can place them along the edge. It's a wall. You have to treat it as such. So if it's a curve, you're going to want to use the regular wall, the regular wall tool and the place new wall section. But if it is just a square like opening, you can throw up some freestanding walls. Like this could easily be freestanding, or so it's an object, or it could be a wall. So you could do either or. So Gore, the devs tell me 5 up, 5 down, but I feel like that's more of a guideline than a rule, because beyond that, you're going to run into serious lag and chug. My computer is a tank, and with 3 or 4 floors, I already start noticing frame drops and stuff. So it's very, very, very possible to build. I've built up like up to 8 floors and down 6 floors, but you start noticing it. Think of it like this. How big of a size of a single floored map can you make that's just a flat map with multiple buildings and objects? Now, if you lay a map, you know, that's like a 40 by 40 and you lay 10 layers on top of each other, that's like 10 maps. So it starts really, you know, you start noticing the difference in performance. It's extremely dependent on the power of your machine. Wow, on Steam right now, we've got 50 plus viewers just on Steam. Thank you, Steam, for watching. Appreciate you. And remember, Steam, we're on sale for the next hour. So if you're looking for a deal, it's like the time to get it. By the way, in the last 15 minutes, 20 minutes, we've gotten some subs and some likes. Forgotten Death and Rafael Pina. Thank you for the subs on YouTube. Over on Twitch, we've got Drake, Forgotten Death, and Kushidono. Thank you so much for the follows. Let's open up another multi-level map, shall we? I want to show you one that I'm kind of proud of. So I know that bastions are kind of a big deal to the tabletop community, the D&D community, mainly those playing 2024 rules. Bastions made a big comeback in the 2024 rules. And we've been asked about this constantly. Can you do bastions in Dungeon Alchemist? And prior to multi-level, yes, it was possible, but it was kind of like all just one big, huge one-level structure, right? With multi-level, it makes bastion making so much more straightforward. Yes, you can export each level separately. Let me show you how a multi-level map works. Stand by. I was told that would bug out and I'd have to fix it the next time I played. So. Fixed. Yay! Okay, so buggy at the moment. I will say this, there is a known kind of performance issue with abstract lights they're trying to sort out, and they're going to try and patch in the next week or so. So if you put a ton of abstract lights on your map, you'll see performance issues. Just warning you now. So if you want to export, when you go to the normal export menu, you'll notice some changes. First off, it shows you a preview of every level. So you've got, in this case, a basement, ground floor, second floor, roof, right? Here I am in the Foundry export menu. You've got all the traditional exports. Export as an image or a video if you want. What is new on this export page that you'll notice right off the bat is the layers section. So you can say, I only want to export the ground floor, which is just the traditional DA export. I want to export only the current layer, i.e. the layer you're on. So in this case, we're on the ground floor. But if I was in the basement, when I went to the export menu, or if I was on the roof, so let's go up to the roof and then hit export. And then just only current layer, it'll only export the roof. So maybe you just made some subtle changes to the exterior or in one of the levels and saved it, and you want to export just that one layer. You set it to only current layer. Just make sure you're on that layer before you export, and then it'll do that. You could do all layers simultaneously. So at the moment, this shows every single layer, and one thing I love about it is if you turn on like the grid, you can see a preview of it. You can tell it to render the grid over everything or under like traditional, so it's under items, or on top of floor but under items, or you can render it on top of everything for that more traditional tabletop feel. But it gives you a live view of everything you're doing. It's great. And then you hit export, and it exports 4 individual maps, one for each level. And then if it is Foundry, it'll come with the JSON for each level. If it's, you know, Roll20, a script for each level. If it's Fantasy Grounds, the, what is it? XML file for each level. You cannot add multi-level on old maps. Old maps have a lock on them in the top corner. This little widget will have a lock on it telling you it's a legacy map, and it will not support a multi-level. You mean you want to have transparency, like around the rooftop for foreground layering? Is that what you mean, Johannes? When you generate the next floor, you could tell it to generate without a floor, but what I like to do is just use the remove floor tool from the areas you want, and then that way you can do like balconies, mezzanines, or just remove the whole floor and vault it. Akinori, English only, please. I'm sorry. Hey, thank you, Marco, for the kind words. But this base, just kind of quick tour. So obviously from top to bottom here, we've got the roofing exterior. We got a couple gardens, 2 players picked gardens. So we got a couple of them running. We've got the entry here with a beautiful walkway all the way around, kind of an area to turn around here. That's our courtyard in the front there. Pop a token and we'll walk through it, give you a little tour. So if you're interested in making like a base for your players or a nice little mansion or a bastion, bastions are so easy to whip up now. Here is the parlor entry area. We've got our kitchen. Little prep station, storage, area for cooking that's on, like, you know, brick, so it's a little bit more heat resistant. And I actually piped out a chimney using the new modular objects tool. I'll show you the chimney in a bit. Here is our dining hall and a little bar kind of set up. Pantry. Food storage. Here is kind of our back parking where goods are delivered or sold or is taken from our storehouse or delivered for our pantry. So we have a dual storehouse put together, and this is like all the goods we have to sell. A little hatch to get down to the bottom floor, and a back stair there to get to the bottom floor. So if it were me and you wanted to do like foreground layering, what I would do is file, save as a map once it's done, right? And then set the biome as green screen. Then go to the roof layer and export only that layer, right? On the green screen biome. That gets rid of all the terrain exterior and sets it as a green background that gets no shadow, okay? And then you'll just have the roof and then the green. Take that into Photoshop, GIMP, photo editor of choice, video editor of choice. You can remove the chroma key or green in like 3 clicks, and then save it as a PNG with a transparent background or a WebP, WebM, whatever. And then that can be used as your foreground layer. It does take a couple of steps, but we've given you all the tools to do it. We likely will add foreground or like transparent exports at different heights at a future update, likely Fun with Objects 2. Here is a little sanctuary. This is our paladin sanctuary. I made it kind of, he's a nature paladin, so I kind of gave it that vibe where you can see outside, but also feels like nature inside. Let's go down to the basement. Here I have the armory and barracks, and I kind of set the barracks up as 2 different teams, red versus blue. Enough room for 12 soldiers in each. They have their own little latrines on site, and then some entertainment and a little bar here, plus access points to various parts of the property, so they can rush out and defend or go to their guard duties. Little hatch here is pretty cool. Back into the storehouse. Go upstairs, etc. Multi-level is so fun in first person because it's so navigable. Stream. What do you mean about light? You want more colors, filters than the current options? Is that what you're saying? Mortal? Hey, Kenny, how you doing, buddy? Kenny is one of our development team. Kenny does a lot of like the animated effects and stuff. So the like most of the effects panel is Kenny. You got stuck on the export map window. What do you mean? What is it doing, Miss Terry? Here we have our workshop, which I'm really proud of this. This is a combination workshop and smithy. We've got our tinkerers, glass blowers, which I made some little custom glass blowing stations. I thought it was pretty clever. We've got smithy over here, jewelers, leather workers, weavers, wood carvers. Here's my halflings room. Very small, everything's tiny. There's my pet dog. That's actually a model of my real dog, Seymour. And then I've got my owl familiar up there chilling out. I actually really enjoyed this build. Made a little kind of a fun little vanity area in the, or not a vanity, a little lounge in the window there. Try clicking on the window or hitting enter. It might have frozen up or something. And what would you rename it to, Cronkler? Just curious. So batch exporting is a new feature added. We realized that on average, most DMs export at least 3 to 4 versions of their maps, typically like a morning, a night, and a winter version, or maybe an animated and a still version, you know, several versions of their map. What this allows you to do is go through and set up very specific export parameters and save them in formats that are available that you can export one after another. So in this case, you could have, you know, Foundry image, Foundry animated, Foundry morning, afternoon, evening, night, snow, all the different times of day, different weathers, grid, no grid, set them up as a bunch of formats and then export them all as a batch, one after another. Export preset, maybe. Map title, because the title still defaults to the name of the map too. It adds that in there in the flooring. So, I don't know. I'll talk to the team though. Hey, y'all. Presets is a good idea. Export formats, export presets. That makes sense. I like that, Cronkler. I'll let them know. But yeah, multi-story, simple maps, very easy to do now. Very update-ness. Let's go open another map, shall we? A hot fix just going live, actually. Should be live within the next hour, maybe 30 minutes. Nice. I mean, it's always nice that your work is recovered, right? I'd hate to lose it, wouldn't you? Uh-oh. Didn't... Monitor was showing that side there, my bad. Or my camera there. Map is taking its time, but it loaded. I'm gonna go to low because, man, it is chugging at the moment. But this is like a great example of, you know, city streets with multi-story structures. The hotfix hasn't gone live yet. It's being pushed out right now. So, Harry, I will be honest with you, the Fun with Objects update kind of got split into 2 parts, right? The first part Part 1, which launched today, primarily had the focus on multi-level and roofing and everything tied to that. There are a few object-related features and tons of new objects, though, still. But the next portion will be a lot of the heavy-hitting object features that people were excited for. Let me just drop a few objects in here and give you examples of a few things that were added. So off the bat, one of the things that was added is this new tab here where you can set the default scaling of an object. So what that, I know you can unlock scaling by turning off collisions, or by default you can scale many objects up to a certain amount or default like to a lower amount. But let's say you wanted universal scaling across all the objects in the object menu to give them all a really similar vibe or size. Maybe you're doing a village for giants or halflings. You want something much smaller in feel all the way across the board. The idea behind this is you can instantly turn it up to 200% or anywhere between 200% and 50% on a, just a quick drag. And now every object in the object menu is now scaled down to 50%. Obviously, you can go far beyond this. If you disable collisions, you can go up into like monstrous sizes or below monstrous or like tiny sizes. We understand that, but this is more of a quick scaling of reasonable sizes across the entire object menu. Another feature that was added in this update that I find very nice, that a lot of people have wanted for a while, is the ability to block exterior light in rooms. So prior to this update, lots of complaints have come in and concerns about shadows being cast from over the wall by the sun, right? So now you have this feature, you can block exterior light under the lighting menu, and now you never have to worry about that again. Only light from windows and open doors leaks in. So if the light surface happens to pass, by a window on that side, the light can leak in and cause a shadow. Does that make sense? Now, in addition to light, there's a new lighting object added called abstract lights. Abstract lights are invisible light sources that can add extra light to your environment to help brighten up interiors or surface streets, caves, without actually adding the light itself. So in the past, you either had to download an invisible light from the workshop or hide a light inside of something like, purple light inside of a mushroom to make it glow. Now you can add lighting anywhere on a map. There's a spot lamp version and a lamp version. You can change the colors of these and the brightness of them on demand. You can raise them up and down to get heights at different angles, rotate them, etc. And of course you can hide them from view, but the light they cast remains. So you can bring attention to certain things or add a mysterious lighting effects to areas. I honestly can't say for sure how we just launched part 1 today. At this point, I can't even guesstimate when part 2 would be because we haven't even started on it. Only portions of it are done. So I would say until we start releasing teaser videos and stuff like that, we probably can't even give an estimate for part 2. Do we have stained glass windows? I don't think there's a stained glass window in our natural, like normal stock windows, but there are some on the workshop. Another thing that's in this update, I think a lot of you will find very helpful, is improvements to the grid. So the grid now can be rendered on top of everything. Prior, it was under over objects, or over floors under objects, right? So you would see something sort of like this. If the grid was present, wow, it's like blocked in all those houses. Anyway, so with the new grid option, you can render it atop of everything, and now it's more of a traditional experience. I do know that in the next couple of weeks, Carl has a 2-week vacation kind of coming up, I think before the end of the month, which is well-deserved. Most of our dev team and art team is going to be taking breaks soon. I'll be around for most of the next 2 weeks as I push out a bunch of tips and tutorial videos and stuff. But I'm also going to take a break too after most of the team comes back. It's just like a week. I took a week off before, and I'm going to take a week off after. Hey, Sack, did you notice? I don't know if your current builds have this issue, but seems like the lines between these disconnected. And they won't like reconnect. Wonder if just making a new one is the play. Like the connections were fried in that old variation of the object. Yeah, it looks like the connections got fried somehow. But also, did you notice objects that were like in the bay windows, you have to shuffle them slightly to make them invisible again? If you just move them like a millimeter, they'll be invisible once you unclick them. So if you have anything in a bay window from the interior, it can now be mounted there. That's great. And they also made it so you can't fall through the floor. Anyway, I am excited for Fun with Objects Part 2, but give our team a moment to catch their breath, regroup, recuperate, and then we can move on to Part 2. All right, everyone. So we've been live now for about an hour. Dungeon Alchemist's update is now live, which means everyone has access to it, and there should be a hot fix out within the hour. So you'll get that update automatically. Either, it'll be part of the update if you haven't updated yet, or if you close Dungeon Alchemist, the update should prompt, and then you can reload in. So to that end, I'm going to actually log off. I'm going to do that because we went live before the announcement went posted, and it shows us as on the sale, which is actually ending in a half hour. You know what? Actually, I'm going to stay. I'm going to stay until the sale ends. That seem fair? We'll stay until 10 a.m. Pacific, which is another 33 minutes. And then after that, I'm going to log out, take a quick break, and I'll be back for another stream later today to hang out with those who need support today, guidance through their new map making experience in the update, or those who need something to watch while they're at work and waiting patiently. Philip, there's been discussion about offering some sort of VTT offering, but at this point, I don't think it would be included in Dungeon Alchemist. It likely would be its own separate standalone entity, like Dungeon Alchemist VTT, but it has absolute compatibility with Dungeon Alchemist, offering, unprecedented level of interaction, so to speak. Nice, Giuseppe. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'll probably be back in about an hour. Well, actually, no. I'm gonna run till 10, and then I'm gonna be back around 12. So we'll stay on live till 10, and then we'll go. Don't forget to follow Dungeon Delvers on YouTube. Can you send me the link for that, Terry, in Discord, and I'll take a look at it? Before we follow any channels, I always got to inspect their content and make sure it aligns with our company values. Got to do my due diligence, By the way, anyone watching that's expecting like the ability to copy and paste multiple objects, or, you know, move objects as a group or rotate objects on any axes, I want to point out that several months ago, we announced that Fun with Objects is being split from one update into two. We did this because we realized that if we wanted to pack everything we were trying to pack in this update and make it work really well to the standard we have set and you expect, that it would probably be delayed till the end of the year. And we knew it already been almost a year at that point, so we decided to split it into two parts. Portion one would focus on multi-level and roofing, but also add a bunch of new objects and object-related features. Portion two, okay, would add most of the heavy hitter object-related features. As you can see, the update is still huge despite being split into two pieces. In fact, I've made every trailer for Dungeon Alchemist since the second stretch goal launched, Ancient Ruins, or Abandoned Ruins, right? And in that time, I have not had a trailer go over a minute and 25 seconds because of the features. I was able to cut it down to that time, usually around a minute to a minute 25. This one was up to a minute 38. Okay, there were so many features in just the first half of Fun with Objects. It is the longest trailer I've made to date. Hey, Will, how you doing, buddy? I got that link. I'll check it out after, okay? Thank you, Harry. Run amok. Oh, man. Honestly, I always forget the name link, man. I'm sorry. My bad. I mean, honestly, Swamp, they lasted 2 hours because I wanted to cover everyone's questions, make sure everyone had a chance to tune in and didn't miss anything, but also cover all that stuff in great detail. I think it made sense that it took that long, for sure. So, you have multi-level functionality, the ability to build underground. You can disable exterior lights. You have abstract lights. A new quality of life feature is recent maps. So any maps you've opened will show up in the recent map panel, saving you tons of time. In fact, here, let's look at that. So you can go to recent maps now, kind of like, you know, open recent documents or whatever. So you see a list of all your most recent maps so you don't have to go hunt them down. I love that feature. Henry, you build the map multi-level. When you go to export it, it slices all the levels into separate maps. Every single level, floor one, basement, floor 1, floor 2, floor 3, floor 4, excuse me, are all separate exports as part of this one export batch. Excuse me, let me sip some water. Has everyone watched the trailer? And if not, would you like to watch it really quick? So we added abstract lights or invisible lights, so you can add lighting all over to your map, but it's invisible on export or in cinematic or first-person cameras. You can remove flooring from rooms on the ground floor to expose the ground below, or on upper levels to make like balconies, or even remove the entire floor to make a vaulted room. You can render the grid on top of everything. We added a new type of object called modular objects, right? Here, let me show you a modular object. Oh. A great example of one is in my Bastion. I'll run that trailer really quick while we're loading. Uh-oh. We got muted audio. Stand by. I gotta get the audio turned on. Modular objects were implemented in Fun with Objects Part 1. We were able to get it to work. Hey, you should be able to hear this video. I'm going to turn off the music on one side so we don't have double music. Stand by. Get out of the way. Hide my camera for a minute. Modular object parts coming up soon. Right here. No sound, really? F. Huh. Let me see. Should be coming through. Stand by. Let me figure that out. I had this fixed the other day. It was working. Darn it. Yes, multi-level floors now available. I'm going to leave this on repeat until I figure out the audio. Just let me know if it comes on, okay? You guys hear the music now? I see it playing. Okay. Yeah, my audio tool disabled that that portion of my audio. David, to be honest with you, Dungeon Alchemist really isn't intended to be played inside of the tool itself. Despite our best efforts to not, to let our community know that it's not really intended for that, people still do it, especially people who play in person with like a TV tabletop or projector tabletop, because more often than not, people playing in person manage their own dice rolls and rules and things like that. But if you are, playing online, for instance, you're not going to have multiplayer support. And it's a map maker first, which means your players will be able to mess with the map and move things around. If, for instance, you were doing like Steam, share or play together where one person can hop in. It's just not ideal for it unless you're playing in person where, you can disable the UI, put the grid on top of things, and essentially have full control of the situation. If your maps are losing visual fidelity, keep in mind, man, I know for us as the person who makes the map in full 3D, it's really easy to see that difference. But at the end of the day, your players are there to kick goblin butt and collect loot, shoot fireballs. They're really not there to critique the detail and the bit rate of your maps and the, pixel quality. In fact, I've never really heard of a player complaining about pixelated maps, like, ever. Maybe once or twice in 3+ years, and I talk to DMs daily. So I do know it is something we notice as DMs, but I feel like it's almost like it's part of our curse as DMs, as we're so detail-oriented. We notice all that minutia, and it bothers us. Similar to, like, shadows in the rooms or things like that. And I'm hoping with time things like that are remedied in DA and it's made better. But I do know that if you want a higher quality fidelity, you can always export at a higher DPI, but keep in mind that exponentially increases the file size, which some VTTs have limits and resolution size limits, and maybe your players can't load them if they have less than optimal PCs. I would say the average person should be able to make a multi-level map, no problem. And remember, our patch notes pointed out that the first few weeks of this update is going to have some bugginess that they're going to try and patch out and make more stable and improve the performance. So keep in mind, there's bound to be bugs y'all will find and things that the vast diversity of equipment out there running DA will allow us to better improve and optimize it once we get more reports in. So leaving the trailer on repeat here. I actually put a lot of time into this. I'm really proud of the trailer. I do all the trailers for our, releases and all the teasers and all that. When you're listening to the videos and in our next update, that's me every time, so. So what's everyone's most anticipated feature for the update? Like, what's the thing you're most excited about? Or you're enjoying so far the most? Nice, Sombra! Welcome to the future. I guess it's time for me to re-explain how exports work. It's been, 10 minutes since the last time it was asked. We'll cover it again momentarily. Let me turn my camera back on. So, new rooms, you've got balconies, burnt rooms, wonky rooms, crop beds, and there's also topiary beds, but we didn't, or topiary like planters, but we didn't have time to add that in the trailer. That's under mansion, and you can use topiaries to make yourself like hedge mazes and stuff like that. Quite cool. Okay. Yeah, I might add that after this. It's funny, though. It's really mostly just people with Foundry that are concerned about this, and I think it's because Foundry, more often than not, has a bunch of hoops you have to jump through to make things work, right? So I could see people being frustrated or concerned, right? And want to know because of mods and other things and all the different compatibility and different application aspects that you need to consider. So I'll tell you right now, it's exactly the same. We wanted this to be as simple and straightforward and as compatible with as many devices as simultaneously as possible, with as many virtual tabletops as possible. When you go to click export, it'll look very familiar with just two subtle changes. It'll split up multi-level maps into each of their layers. Roof is a floor, second floor, first floor, basements. If there's multiple subfloors, if there's multiple above floors, splits it all up into multiple maps. Each level is a map. Each level exports as its own, image or video, depending on your platform and export preferences, with its an accompanied data file. So basement comes with a JSON and its own image. First floor comes with its own image and a JSON. It's exactly the same, just catered to multi-floor. That's it. So you can actually go in. This is the only new major thing in the menu, aside from seeing the preview, that shows all the floors. You could say, hey, I want to export only the ground floor, right? Or you could export the current layer you're on. So let's say you're in the basement, you only want to export that because you made some changes. You could do that, right? So just click only current layer. So whatever layer you happen to be on, let's say I'm on the second floor, and then click the export menu, it will only show and export that level on only current layer. You could do all layers and roofs. It will do all of them. Video export has been around for Foundry for 2+ years. It's been around a long time. And it's been available for Fantasy Grounds for about a year, year and a half. The only major platform we don't offer video exports for is Roll20, because we're waiting for them to increase their file size limits, which they've done, but they're still rather small. It's live right now. Live right now, Erica. So anyway, looking at this here, essentially what you would do if you want to export, say, just the individual layer, just simply go to that layer. So you just want to export the roof. Go to File, Export, and then you're good to go. Essentially just set it to only current layer, and then it'll show that layer. Swamp, you can rotate any and raise any room before you generate it. That's been available since the Magic Update launched, yes. Anyway. Oh, I just noticed my music isn't playing anymore because we were playing the trailer. Stand by. Stand by. Back on. Small bug on the asset importer. There's a checkbox that says remove ceiling tiles. Let's take a look here. I'm not sure what you mean. So we're in the importer. Let's just click. Let's click see more. Remove ceiling tiles. I'm assuming this is for stairs. Swedish cook. So it's not saving the configuration? Can you record a clip of that and then share it in the Discord? This isn't a terrain. This is the asset importer. This allows you to import 3D models, run amok. Will you please put up a post for that, Swedish Cook, in the Discord so we can track that? Chugs. What's changed, but save these after I moved them earlier. So there was an implement to fix this visual bug where you could see floating items from the floor above. They just released it yesterday or this morning. A lot of things had to be adjusted. Wait, didn't. Guess I could put it on the wall. Shouldn't be visible in the floor below. There we go. There we go. Fixed. So there were some visual bugs that they adjusted, and they just needed some minor adjustment to get rid of it. Do it under support. Spin up a support thread. If you put a token down outside fake, or you get into the cinematic view, then all levels are always visible. So if you drop into those views, the cinematic view though is dependent on the ceiling being raised before you go in, but you can get down low and get up high. You can fly around through the entire building if needs be. The Dam Challenge theme is going to be fun with objects. We always launch the next update using that theme. Like when we have an update that comes in, the first Dam Challenge is always that, like, named after the update. It's kind of a tribute to it. You make a dungeon at level -5, the ground. It's a good way to get free tokens for sure. There's a lot of people in our community who have won a lot. Hey, Cold Lover, that's a great suggestion. I appreciate the idea. To be honest, the ability to jump between floors should be in this camera menu, and it's not. The hotkey plus or minus should trigger it, and I reported it the other day. I'm hoping they'll get it fixed either in the first few hot fixes or in the next version of Fun with Objects. But basically, the ability to jump between floors or reveal them like this, you can do it in the overlay mode, right? So it's nice being able to do that, but it would also be very nice to be able to do that in cinematic modes, in hide UI mode, because you want to be able to jump up to another floor while you're screen grabbing or screen recording. That would be a way to do it. Fake Destiny, I'm not sure if we have any plans to, you know, add increased camera controls or locked fixed position or anything like that. Just delete all of these and add new ones. Kind of show you the linked objects in motion here. So when you click on an object that has this little linkage chain on it, the modular, for the most part, most of them will trigger this new tab in the object menu called modular objects. And then you can essentially just snap on new pieces. Relatively easy to do so. And then this here is actually a geyser. These emit smoke all the time, and so I just shrank one down and put it in the pipe. Got yourself a little chimney. There are also some chimney items. There's some new objects that are chimneys, like this one here. So I actually use that on top of a fireplace, put it on top of it all the way through the roof to give that kind of smokestack feel. What did Giuseppe say? Carguard, I'm not sure what you're talking about, man. I'd have to see an example. You know, if you want to spin up a thread in our Discord, a support thread, we can dive into the topic more in depth. If you have a question that you need like immediate support for that I can guide you through, I can do it. But if you're experiencing a visual glitch or something on your map, I'd have to see it and, you know, see the map, open the map to be able to kind of understand it more. If you want to spin up a thread in our Discord, that'd be incredibly helpful because we can look at it and try to do what we can. I mean, if something is acting unexpectedly, wouldn't that be considered a glitch? So you're saying by your logic, if I have a room, say outside of the property and generate it underground, then it's visible on the floor above, which I'm not seeing here. Like I said, I really would appreciate it if you spin up a thread in our Discord so we could see your map exactly and test it. Because if we have your map, it's easier to test for odd behaviors. That makes sense. Oh, is this what you mean? I mean, if your players are in this room and they have line of sight, they will not see outside of this room. No VTT would allow them to see outside of this space, period. The only reason they'd be able to see outside of it is if you're using Dungeon Alchemist as a play space, which it's not intended for. So, I mean, this here definitely is a bug. I definitely think it should be covered with at least a layer of dirt. Something covering it to make it feel like it's not there. Now, you can see it in build mode, which is helpful. You know there's a floor there. But if you export it to a VTT of choice, it wouldn't be visible. It would really only be visible in print. So yeah, please report that in our Discord so we can track it. That would be fantastic. I would really appreciate that. And then additionally, okay, that's all I'm going to say about that. I really, really need you to spin up a thread. Like creating a support ticket. It's an ideal way for the dev team, myself, other users to see the problem and track it and maybe offer guidance and support. Okay, it is now 10 a.m. I am going to take a quick break. We're going to wrap up the stream for about an hour, maybe two. I'll be back to provide more guidance, answer more questions, and whatnot. For sure, for sure. I'm going to get some food and some coffee in me so I can wake up some more because I feel like I'm running on fumes at the moment. Really excited for the future of Dungeon Alchemist. Excited to see what kind of maps are being shared up on the workshop. Looks like we've already probably got a few up. Couple of castles built by our team. Multi-level maps shared by testers. Maps being uploaded already by our community. Dang. Y'all are fast. Damn, I should say. Damn. So my thing lately on social media, on TikTok, is if I find a post related to us that's really cool, like a cool map or a cool demonstration, I'll just reply, damn, with an exclamation. I honestly, I think it's perfect. The correct response to all Dungeon Alchemist shared content. All right, everyone, I hope you enjoyed the LANCH party as we launched Dungeon Alchemist into the public ether, or the public sphere, for all of you to enjoy and shred apart. Go have some LANCH after the LANCH party. Hope you all have an amazing day and enjoy this update. Please let us know your thoughts, your feedback in our Discord, on our social media. Leave comments on the trailer, on YouTube, or whatever, on our various social media. If you've been testing it out, anything you've run into, whether it's good or bad, let us know. That way we're aware of it. It's always good to know what y'all are experiencing with the update, whether it's, you know, absolute positivity or you're running into problems. That way we can start tracking it and figuring it out. Thank you, everyone, for being a part of the stream, whether you were actively participating in chat or you were just lurking. Thank you for mods showing up kind of randomly at this last-minute surprise stream right before the launch. Appreciate you so very, very much. Yeah, big congratulations to the staff over at Dungeon Alchemist. Honestly, the team put in so much hard work this last year. Tons. Countless, you know, sleepless nights and blood, sweat, and tears went into this update. A lot of new implementations and, you know, software development went into making sure this worked effectively. Now, keep in mind, Michael, you will not be able to add multi-level to old maps using the new multi-level features. It's considered a legacy map, and it will be locked. There'll be a lock on old maps. But it's still very possible to open them, edit them, share them on the workshop, etc. Okay, let's go ahead and wrap up the stream because I don't want any of these sale icons live anymore because the sale just ended. We'll see you later, everyone. in probably a couple hours. Mac out. Bye. Let's run a quick Dungeon Alchemist themed ad, and then we'll wrap up the stream, okay?
You stand before the long, dark road to the fabled realm of Goyak-Ta, and before...
What do we see?
I don't know, a goblin.
I kill him.
But before she does, I, Gilliam of Firth, demand to know the goblin's name.
Hi, my name is Woblin.
Where do you live there, Woblin?
I don't think that's relevant.
Well, but I, Gilliam of Firth, demand to seek the goblin's abode.
Clever. Find family. Kill entire bloodline. I like it.
Seriously, we're doing this? Okay, well, won't be needing that anymore, will I?
Ever get caught by your players with your pants down? Dungeon Alchemist lets you create wonderful maps for any encounter in seconds.
Oh, Woblin, that's a very impressive cheese collection you've got there.
Yeah, it is quite impressive, yes. But you know what's more impressive? This map I have to the
Fabled realm of Goyak-Ta. Please take it and leave. Close the door behind you.
Mr. Woblin, I cannot help but notice that you have a secret tunnel underneath your cabinet. Care to explain?
Download Dungeon Alchemist, the AI-powered map maker, on Steam today.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in for the LANCH party of Fun with Objects. I hope you enjoy the update. And if you are playing with it, please let us know in Discord, social media, how your experiences are going. Send us pictures, send us video, send us bug reports, send us maps. Let us know. Thank you again for being here. Appreciate you so very much, whether you were actively participating in chat, whether you were lurking in the background, or if you were helping moderate. I thank you so very much for being here. Again, my name is Mac, the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. We'll see you next time I give a damn. Mac out.